Hey guys, I'm back with part 2 of the FAQ questions that everybody asked me for Winter Wednesday. Like I said, I got 51 responses. I got about 35 questions, I think. So I'm going to split them into 10, 10, 10, and 5. I'm going to try to do that anyway and keep them about 20 minutes apiece, I hope, because I don't know that you all want to listen to me talk for longer than that. Okay, question number 11. How many layouts? I wrote them all. See, I'm trying to go paper free. Can you guys see that? I'm trying to go paper free, so I have this tablet. This is my Samsung, I don't even know what it's called. Galaxy. My Samsung Galaxy. I wanted the Android, platform. I have an iPhone, but for my tablet, my husband has an iPad, and for my tablet, I wanted the Android because I like to play a game that Apple doesn't offer. So for my tablet, I have the Android operating system, so I can play my game. And then if I want to play anything on the iPad, that Android, that it's not on my tablet, I just steal Stu's tablet. So it works out perfectly for me. There's this thing in here called Note. This is my Galaxy tablet, and I have to turn it this way so that the light doesn't shine on it. And I wrote all of your questions in there because I'm trying to go paper free. I mean, not for scrapbooking, but like I'm trying to be more cognizant of the environment. So, question number 11. How many layouts do you get out of a subscription kit, and what do you do with all your leftover supplies? Let me answer question number 2 first. So every now and then I'll go through my room and I will purge. It doesn't happen as often as it should. I never purge as much as I ought to, but I do on occasion, and my chair rocks, so that's what you're seeing there. This is my office chair from work that normally sits upstairs in my work office, but I brought it down to my scrapbooking room because it's much more comfortable than my scrapbooking chair. But anyway, that's just a side note. So what do I do with my leftover supplies? So every now and then I'll go through and I'll purge things that I know that I will never use. I put them in a big bin. I give them to my friend Laura. She takes what she wants out of them, and then she donates them to her son's school. So that's what happens to all my leftover scrapbooking supplies. Or if there's things that I think would be good for a giveaway, I put that sort of stuff in my giveaway pile, and then when I do Winter Wednesday videos, Wednesday winners, I think, is what I'm going to change that because it's much easier to say. Then I'll keep them for you guys. So that is what I do in my leftover kits. Now, how many layouts can you get out of a subscription kit? I am the wrong person to ask this question to because I have not found a subscription kit yet that gives me enough embellishments. Which is why I thought that if I subscribe to Freckled Fawn, which I still do. That was a question. Do I still subscribe to Freckled Fawn? I do. Right at the moment, I'm subscribed to Freckled Fawn, Scraptastic, the Click Kit, and one more, the Hip Kit. 4. So I have 4 subscriptions right now. Some of them I'm going to keep, and some of them I'm going to get rid of. Because I just find I don't use my stash when I'm trying to... I feel compelled to just use kit products when I'm trying to create with a kit, and I can never do that because there's just never enough embellishments for me in a kit. Scraptastic is probably the best where that's concerned. But I was very excited about the Click Kit, and this was just their first month, and the only disappointment about that so far is, one, there was no alpha at all in their kit, which, they gave you the Amy Tangerine, like those scripted words, which I guess most people are using those as their titles, and I did in my first layout for that too, but there are no alphabets, and all of the papers were from the Amy Tangerine +1 line, and I really like kits because they mix manufacturers. So that was a little bit disappointing to me after I subscribed to that. But we'll see what next month, it's their first month, so we'll see what next month has in store. The Hip Kit, out of the main kit, I don't think that I get enough to do many layouts. They don't provide, it's all pattern paper, and I find that the embellishments on that are limited. So I don't know about, I mean, Scraptastic I think is the best. I mean, I love Lawn Fawn. I love my Freckled Fawn kit. But that's all embellishments, and that's what it's supposed to be. I mean, they're not, you know, that's, but I mean, you get a ton of stuff in the I've never gone a month and used everything in the Freckled Fawn kit. Never. I think that kit is fantastic. But the other kits, I just don't know. I think Scraptastic is probably the best. Studio Calico, I was subscribed to them for a while. I subscribed to Scrapbooking from the Inside Out for a while. Scraps of Darkness. I've subscribed to all different kits, and I haven't found one yet that has the right balance of embellishments to paper. And so how many layouts do I get out of a subscription kit? I would say 8 to 10. And that's augmenting the kit with my stash. I would, one of the things, what I would recommend, Tracy, Mercy Tierra, she does most of her scrapping out of kits, and she's able to get quite a few layouts. Nicole Jones 911 also scrapbooks out of kits. I think she augments her kits with stash products, but she gets a lot of layouts out of her kits. The difference between, I guess I just like bigger pieces of pattern paper on my layouts. I don't do a lot of the small layers to, you know, so I just use up my paper faster. But I would say I get about 8 to 10 layouts out of a kit. Question number 12. That one took way too long to answer. Question number 12. How did you begin scrapping and who inspires you? So who inspires me is my life inspires me to scrapbook. My kids, I call 11 of my nieces and nephews my kids. They inspire me to scrapbook. I want to preserve memories for them. And it all started that way. How did I begin? So I've said this, I've told this story many times, but I keep journals for each of my kids. And one day I decided that, you know, they were just in some composition books, and I wanted to dress them up a bit. And so I went to Michael's or AC Moore, or I don't even remember. Maybe it was Joann's. I don't remember which craft store I went to. But I went there to look for things that I could decorate their books with. And I don't know what happened. It went from there. And I've loved it ever since. There was something about pulling out my papers and my glue and my scissors that took me back to kindergarten or something. And I just really loved it. And I love the idea of preserving memories for them. I'm actually recording this. Today's the 10-year anniversary of my mom's death. April 14th is the day I'm recording this. So my mom's been gone 10 years today. And give me a second. I don't have as many of her stories documented as I would like. And that inspires me to keep scrapbooking. And, you know, to be able to tell the stories to my nieces and nephews. Now, I don't know. You know, you never know what's going to happen when you're gone and if any of this is going to be worth it. But I do know that my kids like coming over, and they like, I mean, they're not all that interested in layouts that don't have them on them, but the ones that they like looking back at the pictures of themselves. So I will probably make them photo books or something like that. But that inspires me, my kids. The stories that, like today, the good story from Gabe today was he came in and Stu said that he had a question for me. And one of the wrestlers just died, and please forgive me because I don't remember who it was. But Gabe wanted to know why the flags weren't at half staff when the wrestler died. Now, I couldn't explain why the flags were down when Whitney Houston died. So I can't really explain why they're not down for the wrestler, but yeah. Anyway, that's a sore subject with me. But it's those types of stories. Like, that's a cute story. And then he and I had a huge, you know, a very long conversation about the flag and what the rules regarding the flag are. So those are the types of things that I like to scrapbook and remember. And as far as, you know, why I scrapbook, it's those kids. It's those memories. And it's our memories as well. I mean, Stu will say something. It's funny, I tend to do Project Life for us, and my scrapbooking is more for my kids. As far as who inspires me, just from a scrapping perspective, oh my goodness, there's so many people on YouTube that are inspirational to me, and I can't name them all. So I won't even begin to try. But if you look down my subscribe, you know, the people I'm subscribed to, those are the people who inspire me, and, you know, I will look at their layouts and and feel like I don't even know why I bother. You know, they're so good. So that answers question number 13 as well. Why do I scrapbook? Question number 14 comes from a person who is just beginning to scrapbook, and they want to know how to start. I will caution you against a couple of things. Don't buy everything you see right away. I don't think, learn your style before you start buying, like, loads and loads of supplies. I wish I had done that. So learn your style first, and then where to start. I always say there's no rules in scrapbooking. There are design rules. I'm not going to deny that or say that there isn't, but I feel like scrapbooking is such a personal thing that if it looks good to you, that's all that matters. And, you know, it's your memories, and your kids aren't going to care if you used, you know, paper from 3 years ago versus what the latest and greatest is today when they're looking back at the memories that you preserved for them. So where to start? Paper, pen, adhesive. That's all you need. You know, print yourself some photos, do some journaling, and put that down on paper. Get yourself an album. I would make your decision about what kind of album you're going to use. And this is, again, one of those questions that I think is going to require a longer video. But just a couple of things is to definitely decide what kind of albums you like. If you like postbound, if you like 3-ring, you know, how are you going to store them? What's your organizational structure going to be? That kind of thing. But I would just sit down with your pictures, a pen, some paper, and go at it. Go to it. You know, maybe some alphabet stickers to put a title on the page. But even titles aren't. The most important thing in scrapbooking is the story and the photos. Everything beyond that is gravy. So where to start, that's where I would start. You know, figure out what stories you want to tell. Find the photos. Even if you don't have the photos, document the stories. Because that's what's important. That's where to start. But I would caution against going out and buying everything you see, and because you're going to get overwhelmed. And you don't want to be overwhelmed about a hobby. So I would just caution against going out and buying everything. I did that, and I learned about a year later that I have certain things that I really love and certain things I don't like. And it's funny because my house is completely neutral, actually, except for this room with the big red. But most of the time, most of my house is pretty neutral. But in my scrapbooking, I really like really bright colors. And I would buy a lot of like the craft and the muted pastels, and because that's what appeals to me in my house, in my decor in my house and things like that, but not in scrapbooking. I like bright colors. I like, you know, bold designs and things like that. So, you know, your scrapbooking style is something that you need to hone a bit. Not really a style, but just what you like. So don't run out and buy everything you see and everything you think you're going to like. Figure out what it is you really like to put on paper and then buy that. How long have I been scrapping? I've been scrapping since September, Labor Day weekend of 2008. We went to a convention, my husband and I, and that's when I started scrapbooking. Question number 16, do I do Project Life? And if I do I use stamps? Yes, I do Project Life. It's a bit behind for 2014. Shh, don't tell. And do I use stamps? I have a whole box of stamps that I have sort of pulled out of my general stamps that I use for Project Life. What's my favorite ink, and do I have any stamping tips? Here was something that I needed to learn, and as a bargain shopper, I had to learn it the hard way. Your $1 stamps are not going to stamp as well as your $15 stamps. It's just not going to happen. You're going to want to look for stamps that are photopolymer. Those are the ones that are going to give you the best results. There are a lot of companies that make them. You want to just make sure Lawn Fawn is one of them. Technique Tuesday is one of them. Scraptastics stamps are photopolymer. You just want to find a good quality stamp, so you want to make sure that is, the $1 stamps are fine. I buy them. I use them. But you know, if you're looking for a crisp, really nice impression, the dollar stamps aren't going to give it to you. So I would just say that I had to get over the sticker shock a bit of buying a good quality stamp set. Hero Arts is still one of my favorite stamp companies. They make really nice stamps in their photopolymer. So I would use, I mean, we say acrylic stamps a lot, but the better quality ones are photopolymer. And then the stamping tips. If you're having real trouble getting an impression, there are a couple things you can do. You can take a piece of sandpaper and just lightly buff the top of your stamp, and that will give your ink more surface area to cling to so you get a better stamp impression. Other people have also used a pencil with an eraser, and they erase over the stamp and then use the ink. Some people, I've seen Christina Werner do it. They will put their stamp in Versamark and then put the stamp in whatever colored ink they're going to use, and then stamp it that way. And the Versamark is sticky, so the Versamark pulls that ink and gives you a better stamped impression on the paper. Be careful of what paper you're stamping on, because if it has a textured surface, like most American Craft cardstock does, you're not going to get as good an impression as if you're using smooth cardstock. So you want to pay attention to your paper. Inks, my favorite ink, and I don't use them as much as I should, but my favorite ink are Colorbox inks. They are just they're dye inks. They're my favorite. But what I use the most, I would say, are Memento inks. Yeah, these. Let me just show them to you real quick. These are probably the ones I use the most. These Memento ones. Hero Arts has a, I think it's Hero Arts, yeah. Hero Arts has a set of stamps, stamp pads out now that are really good. Stampin' Up's pads are very good as well. So I think what's more important about stamping is your stamps and not necessarily your ink. I think you can get away with a less quality ink if you have a good quality stamp. And if you're having a lot of trouble stamping, what some people will do is, go Steelers, stamp on a mouse pad. So put a mouse pad underneath your surface and then stamp on top of that, because that's going to give the paper, the paper is going to have some give that way, and your stamp's going to be able to go deeper into the paper, you know, more firmly onto the paper, I should say, on top of the stamp pad. So that's what I would do there. Okay, question number 18. I have about 2 minutes to answer the next two questions. Do I take pictures of my nieces and nephews, or do I steal them? Both. When I am with my nieces and nephews, they are sick of my camera. Some of them run away, and then some of them are big hams and will pose all day. It's just dependent on their personality. And then some of them are big hams some days and don't want their picture taken another day. What I typically tell them when I see them is, give me one good picture and I will not take a picture of you. First of all, I don't ever take pictures of my nieces and nephews unless they give me permission. I always ask them. And, well, I ask them if they're old enough to be asked. Otherwise, it's fair game. If you can't talk, it's fair game. Sorry, Audrey, that's just the way it is. But Audrey's a ham and loves the camera, so it's no big deal. Casey, too. Big ham, loves the camera, no big deal. So when I'm with them, I take lots of pictures of them. And then I do take them from their parents as well. When I'm with my sister-in-laws, I have one sister-in-law who just sends me all kinds of pictures. Kelly, that's Grace and Casey's mother. She just sent, and Laura, Will's mother, they just send me all kinds of pictures. Here, take them, take them. Melly and Christina, Gabe, Madison and Mason, Gabe, Sarah, and Eli's moms, they will post pictures on Facebook, and they're fair game. They know that. I take them. So it's a combination of both. Melly, Sarah, and Eli's mom, I will actually just pull her SD card when I'm with her and just steal all of her pictures. I haven't done that to Christina yet, but I'm looking at you, Christina. I'm coming. I'm coming for you. So anyway, I steal them and then I take them when I'm with the kids. And if the kids they really don't want their pictures taken that day, I respect that. And I just ask them if they'll give me one good picture and then I'll leave them alone the rest of the day. So that's how I work that. Question number 19. How do you put layouts together? Display them in binders. So all of my layouts, once they're finished, go in a big pile until I feel like putting them away. And then they go in 3-ring binders in date order. I have a binder for each year. I have about 3 binders for some years, but I have binders for each year. And then when I put them away, I put them away in date order. So I don't display my layouts. My family sees them because I post them to Facebook, so my family's all on Facebook, so that's how I display them. And then I just put them in binders whenever I get around to organizing them and putting them away, which doesn't happen as quickly as it should. It's getting better now that I've decided to scrapbook somewhat in a chronological fashion. Putting them away is a lot easier now, because, I just kicked all my embossing powders over. So, they're in bins. It's not a big deal, but they're going to fall all over the floor. But, so I, now that I'm scrapping in sort of a chronological order, they're much easier to drop where they belong, because I can then back the page protectors up with what layout needs to go where. And because of the way I do my system of what layouts to do, it's an easy way for me to file them as well, and that's another question. So when we get to that question, I will explain that a little bit further. This is the end of part 2, and I will be back with part 3. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon.